Hey dads, if you are managing a household, saving for your kids' future, or just trying to get more money, then you need to understand your net worth. And believe it or not, there is a magic number when it comes to net worth that makes things way easier. And that number is 100K. In this video, I want to show you how this 100K sorcery works and what you can do to get there faster. So the genius of this 100K obsession starts with a guy called Charlie Munger. He's a big-time investor, an all-round rich guy. This is what he had to say about 100,000. Your first 100K is and I can't say that word right here, but you've got to do it. Find a way to get your hands on 100,000. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on 100,000. Now, Charlie Munger is not talking about actual cash. He doesn't want you to have 100,000 pounds or dollars in cash. He wants you to have 100,000 in net worth. That means all of the things you own, known as assets, minus all the things you owe to other people, liabilities. The difference between those is 100,000. And it's not just him that thinks this. Loads of experts agree that once you get to 100,000, things just get much easier in your life. That's why Charlie Munger was so keen on you getting there pronto, and so am I. Now, at $100,000 in net worth, or pounds, whichever you prefer, something interesting starts happening. A snowball effect happens where the money that you've earned earns more money, which earns more money like a snowball rolling down a hill. And it does so because of three main reasons. One, the power of compounding. Two, the increased income opportunity. And three, the smarter money habits that you've developed. So let's unpack each one of these now. Compounding to me is sorcery. It's magic. It's money making more money without doing anything other than leaving the money to do its thing. Now, it's easier seen in an example. So stick with me here. I'm going to stick with very basic numbers. Say you have $1,000 and you're getting 10% interest on that money. After 1 year at 10%, you will have $1,100 because 100 is 10% of 1,000. So you add that on top. Sweet deal. Free money. You've earned your $100. That's really cool. But now, year two, if you don't touch that money, you earn 10% again. But that 10% is no longer $100. It's 10% of 1,100, which is $110. So now the next year, you are earning interest on not 1,200, but 1,210. Now, understand that doesn't sound like a lot, but after a long enough time period, this starts to rack up really quick. And for that, I need another example. Stick with me. Now, believe it or not, $100,000 is actually halfway to $1 million. I know that doesn't sound right, but check it out. If you invest $100 a week at 12%, if you carry on at that rate for all 12 years, you end up with 100,000. Hooray, you had that first magic 100,000. If you just keep up this same habit for another 6 years, you get to your second 100. So you've halved the time it's taken you to get there. So you're at 200,000. Now, in total, you've done 12 years plus 6 years, and you've made 200,000. Total, 18 years to get there. If you just carry on doing this for another 18 years, you get to 1 million. At that same rate, at that same amount that you keep putting in. It is crazy. So after your 12 years of investing $100 a week at 12%, you're actually halfway to $1 million. All the heavy work is done at the start because compounding takes over at the end. And here's the really crazy part. For your first 100K, you actually put in 60% of the money. The other 40 is provided by interest and compound interest. For your 1 million, you actually only put in 20%. So you only put in close to 200,000 to get that million out. That is the power of compounding. That is when money magics more money. And it does this through the recipe of time plus money plus compounding. The more time you have, the better. But also, the more capital you have or the more money you have, the better. And that's why getting to that 100,000 mark is so important, because 12% of 100,000 dwarfs 12% of 10,000 pounds. When you get to 100,000, those numbers are noticeable. They are significant. They're not so much at $100 at a time. So when you get to 100,000, compounding works, but also your returns are so much more significant. Reason number two, increasing income opportunities. When you have $100,000 behind you as a net worth, you can start to take some calculated risks. You can invest in real estate. You can start a side hustle. You can start looking at other ways to make money. You can take risks on things like crypto. And just truth be told, I've done all of these. And it's only because I had a net worth of over 100,000 that I was able to do it. And when we take these calculated risks, we can see big returns in a way that we couldn't do before because it's too scary to spare any money. Here's the dirty truth about making lots of money. It's not the smartest or the hardest working that make the money. If it was the smartest or hardest working, then we'd expect to see lots of hardworking waiters or nurses being millionaires. But you just don't see that. And when it comes to smarts, I can tell you my mom is part of Mensa, a community reserved for people that have an IQ of over 132. She tells me that no one in that group is particularly wealthy. And in fact, there's even a janitor that frequents the meetings. Smarts don't equal money. Risk equals money. Now, of course, hard work and smarts can put you into a position to take calculated risks and get more money, but so can having money, because having money gives you the space and the opportunity to take risks. It's no big deal to you to drop a couple of thousand on an opportunity that may or may not work out. When that money is sacred to you, it becomes very hard to risk any money because you don't have enough to even risk. When you work at a 9 to 5, you don't take any risk. They pay your salary no matter how much work you do or how little work you do. They just pay you. No risk. And as such, you get underpaid. When you start a company, when you start a business, well, guess what? You put a lot of risk out there. A lot of your capital goes into it. And that's the reason why people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos earn a lot more than their employees. Not because they work harder, not because they're necessarily smarter, but because they took the risk. Getting into that 100,000 mark means that you can start to take risks and start to earn lots more money in a way that you couldn't do before you had that money. Now, related to this is the doors that open when you have a higher net worth. And quite often the doors that open up to more money. And this is something that is more social and psychological than monetary or mathematical. You see, when you have enough money to start enjoying yourself, do more social events, go to more things that you find fun, then you're going to meet other people in those circles. And people in those circles will know about opportunities. And that's something that's often neglected, how much your social network can help you. And when you have £100,000 behind you or dollars, then it gives you an opportunity to socialize more and not just be grinding day and night. And that cannot be overstated. Having a higher net worth means you're put into contact with other people with a similar net worth, which begets you more opportunity. And reason number 3, smart money habits. If you made it to the 100K club, then clearly you are budgeting, you are saving, you are spending wisely, you're investing wisely. You have instilled these habits over years, and that's the hard part. Scaling up your income and your net worth becomes a lot easier when you have these basics down and they are second nature. And this is why I like helping people with their debt, because it's a double win. Not only are they reducing their monthly expenditure on interest, but they are instilling a great habit of getting rid of their money early and putting it somewhere else, what we call paying yourself first. Now, when you're in debt, of course, you are paying someone else first, and that's okay. Later, you're going to be paying yourself first, but it's the same process. You're getting money out your account early before you have a chance to actually use it. At first, it's to your debtors. Later, it's going to be to investments that are going to grow using compounding, which we spoke about at the start. Now, as you do habits like this more and more, you get more streamlined. You get systems in place to make it as easy as possible. And after a few years, you don't even think about it. And so your money becomes almost invisible to you. Investments just grow in the background. And these good money habits mean that it is easy to do the good thing. If you made it to 100K, it probably means that you have these down. Now, if you're thinking, I want some of this, I want to get to the 100K club, then listen up. The first thing you got to do is check the link below. There's a link to my free school community where I help dads just like you do exactly that. We have free resources like a budgeting tool, step-by-step guides, and free courses. Go check it out. That's a good place to start learning about money, how it works, and how it can work for you. Now, some other things that you can do. Number 1, get started today. I already explained how compounding works and how time is the biggest leverage factor when it comes to compounding. So the longer you delay doing any of these things, the worse it is for you. The more you pay in interest and the less you earn in interest. So start immediately. Now, you'll remember the other secret sauce to compounding is not just time, but also capital. So you've got to find a way to increase your capital. Here's a few ideas. Firstly, get real about your money. Start to look where it comes in, where it goes out, and what you can do to stem the flow. If you look at your account once every couple of months, you're like, oh, where's all my money gone? That's not good enough. You've got to track your spending. You've got to see where your money's going and how you are using it. Get a budgeting app, or if you want, again, the link below will give you a budgeting guide, as well as a way that you can implement budgeting in your life. The second thing you can do to increase your capital is to get rid of any high interest loan, and you can pay that off as quickly as humanly possible. The interest rates you get charged when you owe people money is way more than you ever get when you invest. So pay off that money, start getting that good money habit of paying yourself first, even though it's someone else, but just get rid of that debt as soon as possible. Trust me on this one. The third way to increase your capital, sounds silly, ask for a raise. 70% of people that ask for a raise get it, and on average, they get a 5% increase in their salary. Ask for the raise. What have you got to lose? The last way to increase your capital is to not rely solely on your 9 to 5. Your 9 to 5 is an antiquated idea, right? And it actually leaves a lot of time open in the day or the weekends. If you're truly serious about getting to your 100K mark, then you've got to look elsewhere. And the good news is you don't have to move to get another job. There are lots of jobs you can get online thanks to the gig economy. You're watching me right now from somewhere else. You may be in Australia. You may be down the road. You could even be in my hometown of Botswana. You can do this because we're all connected by the internet, meaning that you and I can have a conversation and we don't have to be near one another. You should use that to your advantage and use that power of connectivity. You can do that by selling things, being a VA, doing YouTube, making courses, making digital assets. There's lots of ways to make extra money these days. Don't ignore those, all right? I might do a video sometime of the top ways to do it, but for now, just start exploring. I know there's more to you than your 9 to 5, so go explore it, go enjoy it, go be something else, and go earn a little bit of extra money to get to the 100K mark even sooner. The 100K club is not just about money. It's about freedom and options. Once you hit this 100K milestone, things get much easier. So stay focused, stay consistent, and stay tuned to this channel for more tips on how to get to the 100K club. And if you want any more help, check out the links below. I'll see you next time.